We ride.
Who's that guy with the UFC that goes, "We rolling"?
Bert.
Yeah.
Did he die? Or did
I don't
they
think
just
so.
fire him? Is he not with the promotion anymore?
I thought he was still
Hey,
around.
he might be. I could be totally off base here. Sorry, Bert, if so.
You're thinking of Stitch Duran.
Ooh, did he die?
No,
he
Dana
just-
White fired him, though.
That's what I thought.
he
What
was
happened?
placed on administrative. I think he came out with something on the back of his
He was against Reebok.
shirt. Yeah, it's like something.
You can't do that.
You know,
Some
I don't
sort
mean
of
to be making
statement,
these
yeah.
accusations. Like, they might not be technically correlated. But
You can't do that. Remember when Brock Lesnar shouted out Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing in his post-fight speech?
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
And
Can you move back and move your mic back?
yeah. Well, I can move it back.
Danny
far.
laying down the
This is
law.
as
he
far
wants
as
you
I
to
can
throw
get.
back.
His head was just cutting into your guys' shot.
Oh, nice. Well, I can lower my seat too, a little bit if that helps. Does that help?
Yeah.
See, what's crazy is like the first time it came across you connected to 247. You were in a similar situation like that, and I thought you were like this tiny guy, like 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah.
Just the way that I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
and now you're back in that same
Right here.
spot.
Sitting low.
Yeah.
I'm sitting low today, friends. Dylan Cole looking mighty fine, by the way. In
He
these
always
glasses.
doesn't he?
But the glasses, I feel like, add a couple points. For
you know what?
sure.
Yeah,
He looks like
it's
Harry
the
Potter.
so
H2P
clear.
connection for him.
Danny said it looks like Harry Potter. Beautiful.
I look like an aristocrat.
Have you ever seen Harry Potter, Dylan? Where is Harry Potter in your age's zeitgeist? Does it exist?
A lot of kids read the books. Like, I don't know,
Losers,
not
bro.
really. Like, it's a little bit before me. I've seen the 3 and 4,
Okay.
Azkaban and Goblet of Fire. Those
Nailed
are some
it. See,
fire
you knew some
classics.
stuff.
Did you
Azkaban's
say-
the best ones?
Yeah, that's true.
Gobble the fire, or
Gobble the fire.
Gobble
That's
the-
what I thought.
That's like an awesome metal band. Like,
gobble the fire.
Gobble the fire.
Gobble the Fire stare.
Dan. Have you seen Harry Potter, Jim?
I have. I can't tell you like how far into it I got, but my my nephew was really big into it, and him and my sister, his mother, they would read every book and then watch the movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
I think. Go ahead. Dylan.
I was on the Harry Potter ride at
nice.
Universal,
Nice.
and some jagoff pulled the fire alarm.
Ryan was in
So
Orlando.
I was frozen in Harry Potter land for like 90 minutes.
That's not the worst place to be frozen in, to be
That's
fair.
I can think of a lot worse places.
Definitely. Like Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Oh, what's up, Johnstown? Just
Are
saying.
we live now?
Yeah, we're live.
I thought we were just talking.
We're not live, but
Yeah.
we are recording. I can edit it out or I can. Maybe I'll keep it. What's up,
Yeah.
Johnstown?
Well, we are live.
We are live in studio. I just want to say one more thing on the Harry Potter front. I think I was the ideal age for Harry Potter because I was like 10-ish when the first one came out. Like, it was a big deal in my age group. I like 3rd, 4th grade getting that first Harry Potter book, and it was this huge sensation. I read every book. I haven't seen every movie, though, which is weird. And I hear the movies are pretty good. So I don't know. I feel like I need to go watch them.
The books are better.
Danny knows. I trust Danny Palm on everything.
Yeah.
Danny the Bookworm Palm laying down the law about text.
See, you have to be into books though and reading.
For sure.
But my nephew said the same thing, that the books were better. There were things that you you were missing in the movie, but the book really picked it up and made a difference. But that whole series of movies is timeless. It doesn't like it is in its own time, in its own realm or
Absolutely.
world. So it never loses its luster or dust. You can always go back to it and watch it.
Exactly. Like, you're never sure what time period that is. Like, is it the future? Is it just an alternate past wizardy world that was more advanced? I don't know. That's why it's so timeless. Like, there's nothing that really defines that setting.
Yeah, I mean the cars are kind of old. Like, it looks like old London. Like, no one's
they
got an
fly.
iPad.
Yeah, right.
I think it's a parallel world.
Ooh, that's what I think, Jim. We're
Yeah.
on the same page here.
I like
Yeah.
that though. You were the right age for like Harry Potter, like Chuck Liddell.
Dude.
Like you had Harry Potter and Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, dude, I was very privileged in that realm. Would Chuck Liddell would be, he'd be a Slytherin. Would it? Because he was a good guy. He was a good guy, but vicious. It doesn't like scream Gryffindor to me. What
Maybe
else?
a
Is
Yeah, no,
Ravenclaw.
I think
Ravenclaw.
yeah,
I
Got
don't know.
that's what I was gonna say.
I think he'd be a Sagittarius.
These kids these
That's
days
a different movie
with
Yeah.
their astrology. My goodness, these kids. Speaking of astrology, I'm feeling like a Cincinnati right now, Dylan.
Stars are lining up for it.
Stars are
Yeah.
aligning for a Cincinnati trip with 247 Fighting Championships. Dylan, you wore your red shirt in true UC Bearcats nature. I know you did that just for the show.
Huge fan. You know, I've been following Bearcats. Go Bearcats.
He
Wait,
knows.
I thought you were H2P.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're gonna have to sit on the other side of the table.
Well, it's cats, Panthers, Bearcats. What's the difference, really?
Yeah.
What is a Bearcat, by the way?
I don't
What
know.
is that? Literally, what is that?
Is it really a thing?
Is that like man, bear, pig, but Bearcat? Like, what are we talking about?
Cat-
Paul
so
the
did you
Bear Jew
ever-
Craig.
Did you ever see Cat Dog?
I absolutely.
Cat
Yeah,
Dog?
I'm a,
Okay,
I'm a
yeah,
90s
alright.
kid. I love Cat Dog. My wife is sitting off camera. You guys can't see this. She knows every word to the Cat Dog theme song and will happily sing that on command. We'll get that off air.
Does that prompt an on-screen appearance?
I don't think. I don't think she's a little shy for that. But we'll get Jess Elizabeth to do it for her, and Nicole can feed her the lines off camera. I think that's perfect. So, in seriousness, we are headed to Cincinnati. Our first trip outside of the Keystone State. Pretty fun stuff. September 9th, 513 Fight Night. Sounds good.
Sounds like
it's
a good time
name.
already,
Sounds like
yeah.
a great time. Sharonville Convention Center. Jim, this is fun because we're having this podcast. You don't really know where I'm going with this at all.
I don't.
The poster is going to be done tomorrow. We have a pro heavyweight fight that we can announce on this podcast.
So are we going to announce it?
We're going to announce it
Oh,
right now.
that's
We have
awesome.
a pro heavyweight fight. Give the good people the news. You're working hard for weeks on this card. So give them one of your shiniest fruits.
So I'm going to add a little to it. I'm not going to announce anything,
Nice.
but we've always focused on we focus on putting a good card together from bottom to top.
Mm-hmm.
And each card we get better and better at it. And part of that is with the gyms that we're dealing with and they're feeding us the talent that as they come in, they're better and better. Like these debuts now would 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yesterday's
Yeah.
debuts. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we sometimes go light on the pro card here in PA in the Pittsburgh area. But with some things that happened today, and I haven't told anybody this yet. Lots of phone calls, lots of messages back and forth today. And our pro card is going to be lights out for September. So
This is exciting.
yeah. So okay, so the heavyweight, we've never had a heavyweight pro fight.
Wow. Great point.
First one.
Yeah.
First one ever. And it's gonna be a rock'em sock'em.
Dude.
So can we announce what's new for Cincinnati? Not necessarily new for Cincinnati, but new for 247 and debuting in Cincinnati.
I'm not sure what you're talking. I have an idea of what you're talking about, and if it's that, I don't want to announce that
Okay.
yet because we're going to make a very specific post
Nice.
about that.
Okay.
If it's what I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we're on the
Okay.
Tell us
good,
more, Jim
good,
Mooney,
good.
please.
So that's off the record for now. But guys, there's an exciting announcement.
There
coming
is.
on that front.
So
But-
we have out of Immortal MMA, we've got Cameron Kinzig, who seems to just run through and truck everybody that's standing in front of him. He's coming in on the red corner side. And then we have Raiden Kovacs out of Bauer House MMA. We saw Raiden in the 247 cage. I think this is like 2018 19 maybe
Sounds
against Cody.
Yep.
Or the incredible Cody Gamble.
Not just any Cody Gamble. The incredible
the
one.
incredible. Yeah, I forgot about it. It's pronounced the incredible
Yep.
Cody Gamble. So both of these guys, Cody Gamble is a mammoth of a guy.
Dude, unbelievable.
Raiden Kovacs, like, just made Cody a dwarf.
Yeah.
And so that's saying something. Two guys, 6'6", like they use every bit of that 265.
Yeah.
It's going to be a banger.
It's not just a heavyweight. It is two guys pushing the absolute limits of what can be a heavyweight. 6'6" versus 6'6". Like, highest combined height in 247 history by far. These are two mammoth dudes and two savages. They can't find fights for very obvious reasons, and that makes it easy for us to match them together. And like you said, the stars are aligning perfectly now. Being in Ohio, Cam gets to fight closer to home in Columbus because he's a guy who has to go places to find fights because it's very difficult for him to find a fight. So we're pretty honored to put that one together, man. I've been hearing from Matt Brown and Rick at Immortal for a long time saying that Cam's the real deal. And I know we've been hearing from Rob the same thing about Raiden. We saw that in our own cage. There's no doubt in my mind. One very funny thing, it's kind of funny. It's not that funny. But when we do matchup posters, sometimes we get new pictures for guys. We have pictures, like you said, Raiden fought for us before, so we have his pictures, but he submitted new pictures anyway. It's like not the same guy. Like, you look at the new pictures, it looks nothing like he looked whenever he fought for us. He's more jacked, he's bigger in general, but it's the beard and the hair that he has now, and it's like, well, that I would not even know that's who that was if I'm just looking at it.
We couldn't do a disservice to his newfound style these days by throwing up the old one.
He definitely went 300% more Viking since we last saw him. He is definitely just a Viking right now, just a pure berserker. And I know that's going to sit well with Cam and Immortal and what they want to do. Both of these guys are just crazy talented heavyweights too, because we see guys all the time regionally who you're just big, but you're not really skilled. You can't really move that well. Sure, you got power, but not a lot else. These guys are not that. They're complete mixed martial artists that happen to be 6'6", 260 pounds. It's crazy, dude.
So just one little side note to the to that bout. One of the coaches messaged me, and you may have seen this. One of the coaches messaged me after I sent out the bout agreement. And normally for heavyweights, we just list HWT for the weight. And he was very specific and said, can you send us a new one? I needed to say 265 plus 1. So like that right there says they're going all the way to that 265 plus 1.
Yep.
And using up every ounce that they can.
Yep. I loved that. I did see that message. And on the flip side, the way I interpreted it also is they know the other side is a huge man, and they don't want him pushing the limit and saying, oh, I thought HWT meant 285 or something, because he could be that big. These dudes are just that big, so it's a fun fight. Dylan, I would say this fight is going to end inside the distance. Would you agree with me on that?
Good Lord. You're making a very bold statement here, Hunter Homosek.
I mean, I'm going out on a limb here. Two giants like that inside the distance.
And like you mentioned earlier, like when you get heavyweights and they're at that pro level now, they have experience being really athletic inside those large frames. Like, they're going to be very comfortable moving around, and sounds like you're going to say they're going to cause some damage. There might be some chaos in the cage.
Some chaos in the cage. I love that, first of all. I love it. There's definitely going to be chaos in Cincinnati in general, and that's the kind of fight, all credit to you, Jim, like, once you get a fight like that on the card, the rest can start to fall into place, because we know that the quality is there no matter what else happens from here. Like, we've got that fight to look forward to. It's a real marquee bout that I guarantee you LFA, Bellator, PFL, whatever that's turning into, Dana White Contender Series, they're going to be tuned into that fight, because the heavyweight division is very thin. As we've said, it's hard to find fights at heavyweight. It's just not, it's bigger, larger than your average man. So there just aren't as many heavyweights out there. So when you get two like this that are at an elite level doing things at a very high level, this is the kind of fight that can generate that outside attention for sure. So very exciting to have that one on the card. But I want to take it back a step and just talk about Cincinnati in general, because I don't think we've really ever fleshed out on a podcast why the heck are we going to Cincinnati in the first place. We're doing our thing here in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Combat Sports Podcast just had a successful Sprawl in the Bird cage grappling show. Why would we ever leave home to begin with? So, Jim, you were obviously a very important part of that process and decision making and planning for the trip. So I'll let you kick us off. What was the seed, as Joey Diaz would say, for this idea? I got you, Dylan. I knew you'd like that.
Can you do an impersonation of that?
That's the fucking seed.
What's happening?
Not bad. Actually, that sounded pretty good in my head. I'm pretty proud of that.
That was good, yeah. So yeah, I could probably go deep into the history of it, but I don't know if we have enough time on the podcast.
That would be long.
So
so it started in 17.
Yeah.
So wherever we go, that's where 247's home is. We're just adding another zip code to where we pick up our mail.
Very true.
But we had, so Ryan has said this before, you've said it before, that we wanted to make sure that what we were doing was going to be quality from the opening bell to the end. And we wanted to make sure that we had consistency going with that also. So once we felt like that was established, that's when the talk was, where can we take this show and be successful? So when we hit, or put boots to the ground, we hit the ground running and there's no hiccups. So it's just a 247 show that happens to be in another city. Mm-hmm. So we had done some research. There was a meeting that I wouldn't call it the official meeting, but there was a meeting where like the whole day was a focus on different markets. And I want to say that there was at that time, there were probably 8 markets that we were probably considering, just looking at. Mm-hmm. And there was a promotion that was heavy in that area. And it's not that they were doing a lot there. They weren't doing quality there. Mm-hmm. And it was leaving somewhat of a bad taste in the mouths of the supporters, the support base out there, the fans, the coaches, the fighters. And it just made sense for us to go there, taking what we have already established as the best in Western PA. And some would say, I would say a lot would say, the number one promotion in PA. And we're adding to our offering. Pittsburgh's still going to stay the same. The number of shows that we're doing is going to stay the same. We're just taking quality and branching out and letting other people get a taste of what we can do.
Yeah, and to be fair to our friends in PA, there's a lot of quality in PA. It's almost a shame that we have to be in PA for that discussion, because you put us in 47 other states and it's easy to say we're the best. PA is one of the few that actually has legitimate competition for saying something like that. So it is fun, but drilling down a little farther there, Jim, is when we go to a new place, we have to look, like you said, is there a need? We're never just going to pop up a cage in the middle of Nebraska and be like, come watch some fights. Like, what's here? I don't know. Nebraska might have
I don't know those Nebraska boys.
Yeah, honestly, you might get some pretty good farm boy fights out there. But when we look at Cincinnati, we saw a few things that were common threads, and that's a lot of gyms, a lot of athletes, a lot of competitors who wanted the chance to compete again, but were traveling far to do so. And this isn't secret sauce for anybody in the industry. We're not giving away anything here and saying stuff like that. I know people identify regions like that all the time. North Carolina is another one. When you were talking about other places we were looking, so I'll give that away. North Carolina in general, because they were having some weird turnover with their athletic commission, they weren't having events there in North Carolina. So all the fighters from North Carolina had to travel. They had to go to South Carolina or Virginia or up to, we worked with Battleborn quite a few times and Phoenix quite a few times, coming all the way up here for fights. So when we start to notice guys are traveling far for fights, the question becomes why? Because if you have a strong scene at home, you're not going to leave home unless it's a very specific opportunity, UFC, Bellator, LFA, something like that, that you think is going to propel you to the next level. So when we looked at Cincinnati, we saw a lot of that. And then we traveled physically to Cincinnati to meet with the coaches and the gyms and the fighters and the venues and all of that. And that's when we truly realized there's something here, because unanimously we heard, please come. Like, please come here, guys. We do want that. We hear what you offer. We've seen your shows. Some of them have worked with us on the fringes in the past, or seen us on 247 Live, ordered a pay-per-view, whatever it may be. For a lot of them, we were just pulling out our phones and showing them our shows on the app and things like that. Like, here's what we do. And they're like, okay, that actually looks pretty legit. And just getting on the same page and making sure everybody was involved. So now we have that. We obviously have a lot of support in Cincinnati, or else we wouldn't have done this. And now it's showtime, man. We're building this card, and like you said, we have that huge pro heavyweight fight, but there's a lot more pro fights, a lot more amateur fights behind it. And I know, shout out Tony Lloyd, my guy. He comes to every 247 show, man, in Pittsburgh. He's from Cincinnati, and he travels out every time to watch our shows. I've never seen a man happier than Tony when I told him we were coming to Cincinnati. He's like, you mean I don't have to drive 5.5 hours this time?
No, you still do.
You still do.
Still got to come in for October.
Make laps around the
December,
convention center for 5 hours, and then you can come in. Yeah, that's the move. So he's selling. I was considering consigning him tickets, treating him like a fighter. Like, Tony, go ahead.
He probably could, yeah.
I think he could beat some fighters. He's texted me the list of friends that he confirmed are coming, and it's pretty impressive. I'm impressed with Tony. Good work, Tone. But it's led to a lot more planning, research. Obviously, landing at the Sharonville Convention Center was a decision in its own right. We had a lot of venues to select from, and a lot of interesting ones that I think we will still go to. But for the first one, Sharonville, they have it all. They have crazy amount of parking. It's very central. It's a great location in general.
It's grand and it's central.
Grand Central, like you said. Very, very central, very grand. They got food, they got alcohol, they got all the amenities you could want. Great staff. They've been awesome to work with. So I'm excited to be there specifically. And then the card is just going to make things even sweeter. So we talk about the pro heavyweight fight. Jim, I want you to give them one more nugget. Give them something to get excited about, because we got other things. Don't show the whole hand.
So you mean give them another bout?
No, or just a fighter,
a weight class,
a situation,
a record.
Well, okay, so the one there's I can't even say the one or the two, or there's way too many out there.
It's
and
exciting.
we've just never had the opportunity to showcase these fighters because they're in Cincinnati. And it's not like we wouldn't showcase them in Pittsburgh. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
They now become our guys when we're in Cincinnati. That's my heavyweight. That's our, that's our welterweight, and up and down the list. That's not so when we're out there and we're working on a card, those are always our guys. And what's sort of ironic is I know of at least 2 teams, local Pittsburgh, that are staples on our cards that are coming out to Cincinnati.
Yep.
So they are our guys here, and we're going to treat them just the same. So, and that's the one thing that we do is we develop relationships and we maintain them, and we don't let them go sour. And we want the coaches, whether they're here or they're in another city, to know and understand that we value what they do.
Yep.
So Cincinnati's going to get a taste of it. Robbie Malov, Jeremy Pender, I could just.
There he goes.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see those guys do what we know they can do in the 247 cage. Now, I'm not saying that we have opponents for them. I'm not saying that we don't. But these are those are just a couple of the names. There's Ilyas, Mamadaliev, super talent. I'm excited to see what he can do in the 247 cage. Same as I said before, you're just going to have to wait and tune in for a few more podcasts and follow us on social media to see which of these guys is matched. It might be all of them.
Or all of them.
Right. But there's so much talent out there. It's crazy. It's really neat to see what we've experienced here in the Berg.
Mm-hmm.
We go out to Cincinnati, and there's all kinds of fighters out there that have super high level talent, ready to be put on display. They just didn't have an outlet that was willing to invest in them, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, you said it perfectly there. And the one thing
I can't announce another one. No, I won't.
Don't do
I
it.
just
Yeah, don't do
We'll
it.
get it out of them.
We'll get there.
After the podcast.
Yeah. Mute the mic stand. No. It's very exciting going into a new market because we were talking about this earlier. Me, Jim, and Ryan. So in Pittsburgh, we have a very strong idea for how a card will fill up based on the fighters on the card. We know in terms of ticket sales who's bringing an audience, who isn't, things like that. And not that that's the be-all, end-all by any means for matching. Many more things make a great fight than how many tickets you sell, but that is vital for our business to sell tickets for very obvious reasons. So going out to Cincinnati, we have to take a lot more flyers. We know what they're telling us they think they can sell. We know what their coaches say we think we can sell. But we're going to have to accumulate all new data. When this first show is a test. We can control what we can control, which is our setup, our production, the way we run things, the way we do things. All of that is going to be the 247 quality that you've come to know and love. But aside from that, we're not as sure about how many tickets you're going to sell or how great this matchup is in terms of inside the cage. We know, like you take Justin Pippins and Dan Albright and throw them in a cage. We know what we're getting out of that 10 times out of 10 at this point. We've worked with both guys enough. You know what that is. These fighters are newer to us. So I'm interested in those growing pains because there will be. We do this every show. We could have a wildly successful show and we come out of it with a list of 20 things that we need to improve on. That's what we do. So Cincinnati is going to be the ultimate testing grounds in that regard, and I'm super excited for that. But it is very reassuring to have the stable of pro fighters in Cincinnati that we really don't have here in Pittsburgh, man. I've been blown away by the amount of pros throwing their hat in the cage, so to speak.
Well, not just exciting in the way that this is a test show for us, like this is a whole new market, but we're not here to just dip a toe in the puddle. You know, we're here to come and plant the flag.
Yeah.
Like we want to establish this as our new home. Like we want Cincinnati to be associated with 247. We want 247 with Cincinnati. And we're going all out, like guns blazing.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead. And we're so excited to see not just the talent that we're working with, like you mentioned, the pro fighters, but the gyms who are so accommodating and so willing and so excited to have us out there with them. You know, we're expecting the fans who are so hungry, waiting so long to see some fights.
Can't
like
wait.
this is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
This is going to be chaos.
Yeah, and that's kind of the funny thing is that I don't know, a lot of people don't understand this with regional, local MMA in general. It's not a cash grab industry. Like you can't just do this as a one-off and be like, oh, just made $200,000 off Cincinnati. Time to run away. Like it doesn't work like that.
I mean, if we did, would we run away?
Well, you said make money, right?
I mean, yeah, I did say make money.
Isn't that an oxymoron? Make money and regional
MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just print more money? As a matter of fact,
I think that's how it should work. Honestly, Ryan, I saw that printer out anyway, but I do think that there is something to be said for the fact that this is not a one-off. This is not a ill-advised decision. We didn't just come out of nowhere and be like, Cincinnati, we're going to Cincinnati. I don't care what it takes. We're going to Cincinnati. We did a lot of research about this, so I'm excited to see how it all comes together and what we can build ultimately, because I think, you can tell the fighters and coaches out in Cincinnati, they do trust us, I think. Right off the bat, we've established really nice relationships, and we're extremely thankful for that and trusting in them as well. But nobody knows until they see it. They're taking a chance on us until we actually deliver the product that we said we will. So I'm excited to do that for them and to show them that this can be a thing in Cincinnati and grow it back, man. I mean, Rich Ace Franklin, Cincinnati. Matt Hamill, Cincinnati legend in that area. George Griselle. Like, they have a lineage of excellence in Cincinnati and MMA that's just kind of slowly dissipated.
I think Gray Maynard is originally from Cincinnati.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure
he's
he is.
definitely from Ohio. If it's that area, that's
Famous
interesting.
247 fighter.
Do you mean 247 Sprawl in the Berg alum Gray Maynard?
That's the seed, Joe Rogan. We're going back to Cincinnati.
Pretty good. Not bad either. Maybe Joey Diaz is just easy to impersonate. But I am like, it's crazy exciting for us. September 9th, obviously, big day for us. A big moment in 247 history, I think. Now we just got to deliver. We got the card shaping up. I can tell that Jim's holding a few cards close to his vest, which I like. That's good to hear. That's definitely good to hear. I can think of at least one more fight that we could fully announce that's signed and everything, but we're not going to do that. We've given you one. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, listeners. We gave you one awesome fight. Be happy for now. Dude, go watch Cam and Raiden, by the way, guys, if you haven't yet. Cam, they're both crazy talented heavyweights. I've heard, like I said, Matt Brown, Mark Coleman, those guys at Immortal talking about Cam for a while. And Raiden, same thing on his side. Like, they're ready to play spoiler. They're ready to ride in. Bauerhouse. Has Bauerhouse produced the biggest spoiler in 247 history with Cody Matthews coming in and doing what he did to Victor Lipari? So when Bauerhouse says our guy might know something, I believe him. They have a history of doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, internally we talked about big moments and ranking them 1 through 10, 1 through 5, things like that. And I would say that moment, Cody Matthews and his knockout of Victor Lipari, is definitely, in my opinion, top 3 all-time moments in the 247 cage. Maybe not necessarily top 3 knockouts, or I'm not saying it is or isn't,
I know
but
what
yeah,
you mean. I know
moments,
what you mean.
and like with everything that led up to that situation, and we're gonna try and recreate all that stuff
for
in Cincinnati. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know they're ready for it. The Cincinnati market's ready for it. I'm excited. I've been seeing a lot of traction on Facebook, actually, which is exciting for me, of just random people commenting on our ads and being like, oh, I'm there. We're in. Like, we honestly don't get that in Pittsburgh as much. Like, we've honed our promotion in Pittsburgh to a level that we can target exactly who we want, when we want, kind of. We know this audience a lot better. Not saying that it's tapped out by any means, because it isn't. There's so many people in Pittsburgh who haven't been to our shows that I know would love it. Just UFC fans or Bellator fans, or even just wrestling, amateur wrestling fans. Like, you would all love our shows if you came. So we're still working on that for sure. But Cincinnati is way more of the unknown for us. So to see people commenting on the ad and being like, tagging their friends and being like, we need to go to this. Like, yes, that's good. That's a good sign that they're ready for some MMA action. And they about to get it on September 9th, boy.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about this yesterday, and how Sprawl in the Berg, it never really took a steep turn up for I mean, the buzz was always there, but as far as interest, it was steady. It just kept growing and growing and growing.
Yep.
And we realized relatively early that, like, this is probably going to be something special. And it just kept growing. And yesterday I saw a couple comments, and I got that feeling that this is something that's going to, like, steadily grow. The interest is getting bigger already.
Yep.
And I think come fight night, it's
going to be a party.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like the way you put that, because I totally agree. And what I want to add to that is that we had Sprawl in the Berg and Brawl in the Berg 17, July 14th, 15th. we had signed the Cincinnati deals and kind of locked everything in July 10th ish. So we rolled straight into back-to-back events. Like, we hadn't even had time to fully sink into Cincinnati yet. I mean, now, like you said, it's starting to pick up for sure. But when you go back-to-back events, that's twice as many photos to go through, twice as many fighters to pay, twice as many videos to archive. It's just all the work, but double.
Oh, you're just complaining about all your responsibilities.
I am. That's true.
Yeah.
And actually more than double.
Newsflash. You're picking up some responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Dylan, next show, I got some stuff for you to do.
Oh, boy.
But
On top of all the hard, back-breaking work I already do.
have you seen this guy's
moving these
videos?
tables?
He did
Yeah.
move this table. Guys, this table weighs about 3,000 pounds, I think, based on my estimation. He
Wait-
picked it up over his head and just dropped.
Weighs
just
about
carried it.
15 to 20 Ethan Gosses.
Wow. That's a very specific, like post-Middlesworth Ethan Goss or pre-Middlesworth Ethan Goss? Very
Post
different.
Middlesworth, pre Miller Lite,
Okay.
post fight,
Okay.
with the belt on.
So
So,
like 170?
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Perfect. But yeah, I mean, we knew we were going to Cincinnati before those shows happened, but we were unable to do a lot about it because there was so much that needed done with Sprawl and BitB 17. So it was nice to finally get out of the wake of those two events, which were awesome. Those were, the back-to-back show, I think, probably a highlight of 247's history to this point. But immediately on to a new city, a new place, a new venue, and now we just need to shift gears, and you can feel that the tires are getting traction now, and you just see the way these bouts are coming together, the way people are getting excited, the way ads are falling into place, and people are responding to ads, and it's like, okay, we got something here in Cincinnati. Because it is, and Jim, I know you know this better than anybody as the matchmaker, there's always that period on every card where, like, there's no bout signed or there's one bout signed and it's just a bunch of maybes everywhere else. And it's like, you start to get a little worried for a second, but like we're past that now. So that's good. But that moment happened longer for Cincinnati because of those two shows, because we were unable to do much about it.
Yeah.
So how'd you get through that? How'd you power through that?
I don't know.
Ryan provided a lot of positive reinforcement and optimistic
Ryan who?
encouragement.
Ryan who?
We got the same Ryan in mind.
Yeah, I don't know that
He
guy.
definitely wasn't
He wasn't worried.
angry and pounding on your door.
I don't know
Like
about
metaphorically, there was some door pounding.
Yeah. But yeah, he I don't know. I always worry literally until like weigh-ins.
Yeah,
Because I
same.
think something's gonna happen. Medical's gonna get rejected. And we've not run into that. We have not. But I can't wait until this podcast is done because today was really a good day.
It was a good day.
We actually doubled the number of bouts that are in the registry. I haven't put them on yet, but we've got bout agreements going out. Today was a
go.
big day. Leading up to this, things were definitely moving slow. I remember reaching out to coaches after we had come back from our trip and talking to them. And we knew what most of their roster was. We didn't know what the availability was of that roster. So that was slow coming to us. And I really was getting worried. The pro card was starting to shape up. And I thought, hey, we can't do an all pro card. Ryan's going to kill us. Like you and I, Hunter,
Yeah,
we're all
done.
for
We're
that.
done.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll spend his money. I got no problem. But over the past week, things started to come in at a pace where I was starting to feel better and I wasn't so worked up. And again, today, beautiful day.
And
Super excited about today.
This isn't a live podcast, so we should clarify. This is Tuesday, August
1st.
This August 1st?
Yeah.
Sweet. So when Jim says it's a good day, he specifically means Tuesday, August 1st. As of now, it's been a very good day.
I gotta say, it was a good day.
Not bad.
Well,
Look at Dylan with these impressions today.
I mean, how is it not a good day?
I look and sound like Ice Cube.
I'm a full-time matchmaker for a regional promotion.
that is now branching out to its second
Yeah.
state. Very exciting times.
Yeah.
Dude, you have been matching your butt off. I've been seeing this, and the work is there. So when you say it's a good day, I honestly, I don't know what he's talking about, guy. I have no idea what he cooked up today. But I do know that there's been a lot of messages going out, so that's a very good thing that we got some bites on these lines. We got some fighters reeled in to come in and fight inside our cage because the talent in Cincinnati is 1,000,000% there. The quality of this card, guys, is going to be nuts. Guaranteed. Like the quality of fighters, I will say Pennsylvania, then correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, because I haven't been matching, obviously, like you by any means, but Pennsylvania's amateur scene, Pittsburgh's amateur scene, bustling. We have amateurs coming out of our ears that are coming out of wrestling, coming from wherever. We could match an all amateur card with our eyes closed by tomorrow.
Easy.
Cincinnati, it's like pro heavy. And it's like, do you guys have any amateurs? Do amateur fighters exist in Ohio, or is it just all pro? So that's been the dynamic for me. So it's been interesting to watch you handle that because, yes, we obviously want all your pros, but like you said, at some point that becomes cost prohibitive for us as a business. So that's the other side that I love the podcast for, because we can talk about things like that freely without judgment and just being straight up. You know, we can't lose our asses in the process of putting together a card. That just doesn't make any sense. You don't want to lose that thing, that donk boy. But
Danny, switch to the Sony really quick.
now he's going to do his best Cardi B impression.
Oh, boy.
But
We're in trouble.
for us, there's a very delicate balance there. But at the same time, you look at these pros in Cincinnati. You mentioned two names, Jeremy Pender, strongly associated with and coaches at Vision MMA, one of the biggest gyms, if not the biggest in Cincinnati and maybe even Ohio at large. It's a huge gym. We would be fools to not get him on this card with the amount of pull and attention he would get. Robbie Maloff, another guy. So this is fun. I'm not going to do the full Robbie Maloff story, but Robbie Maloff was a guy that we visited when we went to Cincinnati. And everywhere we went with this guy, he was the most popular guy in the room. Everybody knows this guy. He is a Cincinnati celebrity through and through. So we would be fools not to get him on the card. We just mentioned Cam Kinsick and Raiden. We would be fools not to match that when they've been. So you go down the line, it's like, wow, this is a lot of pros, but at the same time, can't not do it. Ilyas, another one. Throw him in the mix. Like, we can't not do it. These guys are crazy popular and people want to see them fight. Yeah, we're going to give you guys a pretty special card. So when you stack it up, like pro talent, might be our most pro talented card that 247's ever done.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Our first time out. Where's it going to go from there?
I don't know. We could easily throw 10 pro bouts on like that.
Yeah.
But with what you said before, the regional scene in general can't afford that. It's just not feasible because you've got fighters with experience all over the table, but coming with that experience is like they could be 2-0 but super high level talent, and they've got management that is like wanting to get them to the next level, so they're going to command top dollar. So there's a balance there. But on the other side of that, we as a promotion, regional promotion, we've got to get these amateurs exposure, get them on cards and experience, and build them up.
Yep.
So there's definitely a balance that you have to focus on. You can't go too heavy on one side or the other. It's just the way Cincinnati's playing out. It is interesting what you pointed out, and I thought about that, but not really talked about it out loud until you pointed out pro heavy, amateur deep in Pittsburgh, pro heavy in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It is. It's going to be really interesting for us as we move forward to see it play out, because in Pittsburgh, obviously, a lot of these amateurs are going to become pros. More of them are not than are, but still, there's such a strong crop of amateur fighters that I mean, come on, Lucas Siebert, he's going to be a pro. Miguel Francisco, he's going to be a pro. Jeff Magan, going to be a pro. Like, we have a lot of guys locally. All the Indio guys, I feel like, are going pro eventually. They're all very serious. You got all these guys, all this local regional talent that's eventually going to be pro, whereas in Cincinnati, they're all already pro. So it's going to be fun for us as a promotion to track all this. Like, how does your brand grow? How do you handle your career? What fights are you taking? What fights are you not taking? Because a pro on the cusp of a UFC call-up is going to be a little more picky than an amateur looking to test himself. That just makes sense. So from all angles, it's very interesting times for us. I'm personally extremely excited for it, guys. September 9th, get your tickets. 247fighting.com. If you're in the Cincinnati area or Dayton or Kentucky, anywhere, Indiana, what's Lawrenceburg?
Lawrenceburg, yeah.
Very close to the Sharonville Convention Center. It is a really nice hub, like a nice location for people to drive 2 hours or less and be there. So Sharonville Convention Center, September 9th, 513 Fight Night. Jim's cooking something special up for you guys with this card. We as a team are cooking something special up with the whole production, the whole show. Guaranteed. Get them tickets, boy. 247fighting.com. Let's have some fun.
Out.